Okay, so today we are continuing our study in Philippians, actually going back a week, because you skipped me last week. Going back to Philippians 2:12 to 18. We're talking about working out our faith together as a community. And I have a short video clip that I think demonstrates this really well.
Bring it in, guys. Alright, that's it for today. We have a game tomorrow, so get some rest tonight. Remember, ties and jackets tomorrow. Clap. Mr. Cruz, I'm impressed with what you've done, but you came up short. You owe me 80 suicides and 500 push-ups. Please leave my gym. Thanks, fine. Gentlemen, see you tomorrow.
I'll do push-ups for him. You said we're a team. One person struggles, we all struggle. One player triumphs, we all triumph, right? I'll do some. I'll run suicides too. I do some too.
Fine. Keep count. Call me when they're done.
So I just want to read the passage really quick for you. It says, "Dear friends, you always followed my instructions when I was with you, and now that I am away, it is even more important. Work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying God with deep reverence and fear. For God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases Him. Do everything without complaining and arguing, so that no one can criticize you. Live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. Hold firmly to the word of life. Then on the day of Christ's return, I will be proud that I did not run the race in vain, and that my work was not useless. But I will rejoice even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God, just like your faithful service is an offering to God. And I want all of you to share that joy. Yes, you should rejoice, and I will share your joy." How many of you have ever put a puzzle together? To me, it is one of the most frustrating and the most calming things in the world. I love it because I'm slightly OCD, and I love putting the pieces together where they belong. But I hate it because there's too many pieces, and I won't put pieces together unless they fit together. So it's really frustrating. But the thing about puzzles is you can't get the pretty picture on the front of the box unless you have all of the pieces. And that's what Paul is getting at in in this passage. You can't get the pretty picture unless you have the unity. I've actually been known to count the pieces in the puzzle box before starting the puzzle to make sure that I have all the pieces. Because in my house, who knows where the pieces could go. And yes, this is a new puzzle, and I did almost count the pieces. I knew they were all there. But in order to see the full picture, you have to have all the pieces. We are the full picture of Christ, and in order to see that full picture, you have to have all of the pieces. Like the movie clip said, when one person fails, we all fail. When one person triumphs, we all triumph. A few years ago, I was working at a camp down in Oregon. It was in the middle of a wooded area in the middle of the desert. And we were doing this exercise as cabins in the middle of the night, where we had to go find lights in different areas of the camp in the middle of the night, so it was pitch black. There were 3 problems I found with this scenario. One, when you have over 50 junior high girls who scare easily, and over 50 junior high boys who like to scare said girls, there's a lot of screaming. 2, when you have leaders who aren't so fond of the dark, it gets a little more interesting. And 3, if we were to lose a camper in the middle of the dark, that would not be a good scenario. We actually did lose a camper once. He was just fell asleep in a bush though. We just couldn't find him. But the exercise had to be done as groups. If we got to the light and part of our group was missing, we couldn't get signed off. We had 3 options then. We could either go back and find the rest of our group, which didn't seem likely. We could send one person back to go find the rest of the group, which also didn't seem likely. Or we could wait for the group to find us, which didn't seem likely either. Needless to say, not very much got done. But the point of Paul's message is to work as a group. Work out your salvation as a community of believers, as a collective body of Christ. Paul begins this passage by saying, dear friends, which is a term of endearment. He wants them to know that he cares about them, that he loves them, that he wants them to do well. You always followed my instructions when I was with you, and now that I am away, it is even more important. Work hard to show the results of your salvation, obeying God with deep reverence and fear. The Philippians have a track record of being obedient when Paul is with them, and now he's saying, it's still important when I'm gone. What you do by yourself should be how you act when you're around other people. I know for me, just personality-wise, I act different from friends from school than when I'm around friends from church or when I'm around my best friend from home. But we should be acting the same way around everyone all the time. In some translations, it says work out your salvation. It doesn't say work for or work towards or work at. It says work hard or work out. We already have the salvation, we just have to work hard to continue to show our salvation. When I was in 6th grade, I took up playing the clarinet. I had no one to teach me, so I taught myself. But I practiced that thing every day until my lips were bleeding, because I knew that on the day of the concert, if I couldn't play my part, I wouldn't disappoint myself, but I would disappoint the entire band. We work hard to show off the things, or we work hard to show off what I don't know what I'm trying to say. We work hard to show what we want to show. You might just scratch that. We should want to work hard to show off our salvation. Working hard as a group of believers. See, earlier in verse 2, Paul tells us to agree with each other, love one another with one mind and purpose. When you don't work with other members of the community of believers, we in a sense throw away pieces of the puzzle. When you don't agree with each other, there goes more. When you're selfish, not humble, only looking out for yourself, there goes more of the puzzle right into the garbage. Paul then goes on to say, obey God with deep reverence and fear. When we obey God with reverence and fear, then we choose to put pieces back into the puzzle, getting that picture that we want. When you choose to read your Bible, to pray, to act in humility, to encourage, then you choose to put pieces back into that puzzle, getting the unity and the community that Paul is talking about. For God is working in you, giving you the desire and the power to do what pleases him. It doesn't say that God was working in you, or that God will work in you, or that God has worked in you, but that God is working in you. When we work in community with others and obey God, God is working in us to give us the desire to do what pleases him. Do everything without complaining and arguing so that no one can criticize you. I don't hate them, I love them. People who complain all the time because Jesus loves them. But they are some of the most annoying people in the world. I was around someone who was complaining nonstop all day the other day, and I did nothing but roll my eyes and sigh back at her. But then I realized that by doing that, I was essentially complaining back to her without using words, which was contradictory. But they're really annoying. When we do nothing but complain and argue, we do nothing but destroy the community of believers. I used to babysit twin toddler girls, and if you know nothing about girls, they like to fight, especially twins and toddlers. When one has something, the other wants it. Doesn't matter if they have the same toy. I found a solution to this. It's a quiet game. 5 minutes of the quiet game, and they forget what they're fighting about. How often do we forget do we fight about nothing and forget what we're fighting about, and it's pointless? When we fight with each other, we throw away more pieces of the puzzle. I don't know about you, but when I fight with someone, or get angry or frustrated, I feel it for days and I don't let it go. And I often forget why I am fighting or feel that way. But it doesn't help the community of faith. It doesn't help me, it doesn't help anyone else. But every time we get along with each other, we put more pieces back into the puzzle and we start to get that picture again. The next part of the passage, I think, is one of my favorites, and it demonstrates the second point I want to make today, which is light up the world. Live clean, innocent lives as children of God, shining like bright lights in a world full of crooked and perverse people. I have another short video clip I want to show you.
You know my father?
Correction, I know your father.
I hate to tell you this, but he died a long time ago.
No, wrong again.
He's alive. I'll show him to you. You follow old Rafiki. He knows the way. Come on. Don't stop. Hurry up.
Oh, wait.
Come on. Come on.
Would you slow down?
Stop. Look down there.
That's not my father. It's just my reflection.
No. Look hard. You see, he lives in you.
Father?
Simba, you have forgotten me.
No. How could I?
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are. You are my son, and the one true king. Remember who you are.
I'm not trying to compare us to lions on the African plain. But he says, look inside yourself, that he lives in you. God lives in you, and because he lives in you, you can shine like bright lights. When you look in a mirror, or Simba says, all I see is my reflection. When you look in a mirror, all you see is your reflection, but you actually see much more than that. When you look in the mirror, you actually see the image of God. You were created in the image of God. Remember who you are and that you are children of God. and that you are to shine like bright lights in a dark world. I know that we hear a lot about shining like bright lights, but it's true. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "If the stars should appear one night in 1,000 years, how would men believe and adore and preserve for many generations the remembrance of the city of God, which had been shown? But every night come out those envoys of beauty and light the universe with their admonishing smile." Paul is telling us to shine like bright lights all the time, not just when convenient. If we only shine once every few days, how would others believe? When we shine, we put more pieces back into the puzzle. Matthew 5:14-15 says, and I know we hear this one a lot too, "You are the light of the world, like a city on a hilltop that cannot be hidden. No one lights a lamp and then puts it under a basket. Instead, a lamp is placed on a stand where it gives light to everyone in the house." Don't hide your light. We are supposed to show our lights along with other members of the community. If you ever look at the stars at night, when there's only one star, it's pretty, but it's kind of depressing. You wish there were more. You wish you could see more than one. When more stars start to fill the sky, it gets brighter. If it's just me standing out on a street corner, it's not going to get much done. But when you add Casey, more gets done. When you add John, more gets done. When you add Victor, there's more. And the thing about stars is they never actually go away. Sure, during the day it looks like they disappear, but the sun is just hiding them because the sun is shining brighter. The sun is overpowering them, but the sun is not overpowering us, he's empowering us to shine brighter. The best way I can think to describe this concept of the love triangle is with the glow stick. And this may sound kind of cheesy, and it doesn't actually go into a triangle, it's a circle, because you can't bend a glow stick into a triangle. And I don't have a glow stick, but just picture it in your head. When you start with a glow stick, it looks like an eye. The triangle starts with an I. I will live, or in order to have unity, you have to start with I. I will obey God, I will live in humility, and so forth. When you bend it, then you have the U, and it starts to light up. And what do you and I equal? We. We equals unity and community. And when we have community, then it begins to light up. When you connect the glow stick into a full circle, then you get the third component, which is God. And you have you, I, and God. Stars shine brighter and further when they are in clusters. We shine brighter and further when we are in groups. Another quote from Ralph Waldo Emerson says, "From within or from behind, a light shines through us upon things and makes us aware that we are nothing, but the light is all." We are nothing without the light that shines in us and through us, and we are nothing without each other. When we shine like bright lights, then we come to the third point I want to make today, which is to rejoice. "But I will rejoice even if I lose my life, pouring it out like a liquid offering to God, just like your faithful service is an offering to God." And I want all of you to share that joy. Yes, you should rejoice, and I will share your joy. When you get good news, you want to share it with the world. When Ryan got into school in Boston, he wanted to share it with the world. It was all over Facebook. We are to rejoice in the ministry that we have and rejoice with others. Not out of obligation, but out of love and care for each other. When you do, you will find fulfillment with God and with others and with the community of believers. And when you do this, you are putting more pieces back into the puzzle, and you're getting that pretty picture on the front of the box. I want to share a story with you to close about a woman by the name of Madonna. We all know that name, right? But it's not the same Madonna that you're thinking of. This is a woman by the name of Sister Madonna Buder? I'm not sure. She is an 83-year-old Roman Catholic nun from Spokane, Washington, nicknamed the Iron Nun. At the age of 48, she started running and completed her first Ironman race when she was 55. She has since completed over 330 triathlons. In 2005, at the age of 75, she became the oldest woman ever to complete the Ironman World Championship race, finishing 1 hour before the 17-hour cutoff time. In 2006, she finished it again with a time of 16:59:03. In 2008, She participated in the Ironman Canada race in British Columbia, but was unable to finish with a time of 17:02:47, just 3 minutes over the cutoff time. But she went back a year later and finished the race with a time of 16:54. She broke her own record at the age of 79 and said she would be back to be the first 80-year-old woman to finish the race. In 2010, she tried again, but couldn't finish because of a wetsuit incident. I don't know what that means. At the 2012 Ironman Canada event, she became the oldest woman to finish the race with a time of 16:32 at the age of 82 and set a world record for the woman and the men, the oldest man being 81. This race consists of a 2.4-mile swim, a 112-mile bike ride, and a 26.2-mile run. And she completed it in over 16 and a half hours. She has competed in 40 Ironman races. When asked about her accomplishments, she says, "Well, you know, as long as God is giving you your health, there's no reason to stop. There's no limit, no boundaries to when and where you can commune with God. It doesn't have to be in church all the time." Madonna is an example to us all of perseverance. You may not be running triathlons and Ironman races, but you are called to work out and grow and run that race in Christ. Madonna had to work hard to show the results that she wanted in all of these races, and you in the same way need to work that hard. Look for every opportunity to promote unity within yourselves and within the church. You have two choices. You could work out or waste away. Working out will get you the pretty picture on the front of the box. Wasting away will not. Which one will you choose?
All right.